In this tutorial, I will use the City 1 project. This is one of the most truly modular city builders projects that I found on the marketplace for procedural level generation. The designers of this project added so many standard variations into the project that you can easily combine to generate from small cities to megacities. In this video, I will show you new features of the Procedural Level Generator plugin, such as the new editor to design grids for your city and the Asset Randomizer, as well as some other features. If you open the overview map, you will see that all tiles are categorized nicely. But if you check their size, they are not as similar as we expected, and each of them has different sizes. But don't worry, as I said, this pack is standard, and the designers of this pack created standard ground tiles to fill the map, and then you can put buildings on top of them. Also, as you saw in the previous videos of the PLG plugin, this plugin supports this kind of setup. The first step to creating a city is to design its map. Right-click on the content browser, and from the AZ-PLG menu, select Grid. I will call this new asset G_NH_1 as the grid for the neighborhood one. From the Details tab, first of all, let's fix the random seed to 0, so we have more control over randomization. Now we need to define areas for this neighborhood. Your area name must be unique, which means you can't have two areas with the same name. Luckily, Editor will automatically check that for you, and if you write a repeated name, it will automatically fix that. Also, you can't use roads as name. This is reserved by the editor. And finally, your area preview color can't be black, as this color also is reserved, as you may guess by now. Editor concerns black pixels as roads. Road access is very important. It defines each tile's maximum allowed distance from the road tiles. For example, for residential areas, I want each tile to have access to the road. So, as you can see, homes will be next to each other, but if you want your house to have a backyard, and you have meshes for that, you can set road access to 2, and you will get results like these. In this neighborhood, I also want to have some shops. You can have as many areas as you want. Now, to design a neighborhood, we need to add districts to the map. You can add them from the Districts tab. As you can see, there are some settings to update the district's color, location, size, and area. By double-click on the empty space, you can select the district in the viewport. And if you click on the viewport, you can move the district with the arrow keys. And to apply or reset its location, you can use the Actions menu or use keyboard shortcut Enter to apply and Escape to reset. Please keep in mind the order of districts in the list is important. If I duplicate this district and change its area and size, you can see it covers the other district. But if I change their order, you can see the difference. In case you have a large map and filling it with districts manually, it needs a lot of time and energy, but you can design your map with just a single click on the Fill grid, and to control their sizes. In the Details tab, you can update Fill Min Width and Fill Min Height. As you can see, this time I have bigger districts. You can manually edit these districts, and to see their name, click on the Show menu and enable District Name. It's possible to merge some of these districts. Just keep in mind that it's not important to optimize this list of districts. Also, don't forget, if you are not happy with the design, you can change the seed manually, or make it random by removing the tick and adding the check again when you find your perfect design. At this stage, we are one click behind to complete the neighborhood. All we need is to add roads. To do that, just click on the Make Grid, and it will add roads to our neighborhood. As you can see, all residential and economics tiles have access to the roads, as we set their distance to road options to 1 tile. But let's increase the economics distance to 2, and check the difference. As you can see, there's an extra tile between roads in comparison to the residential. You can also manually define roads by just creating a new district and changing its area to the roads. For this tutorial, I want to create a small map. So let's reduce the map size and the fill values before wrapping the grid editor. I want to show you an Unreal Engine bug. If you choose a small value for the map size, you may see chaotic pixels in your viewport while working with the districts. Until I found a fix for that, you can use the refresh button or close and open the editor. Our grid is ready. Let's create the collection to fill this neighborhood with meshes. The process of making the collection is the same as before. From the AZPLG menu, select Collection, and set the new asset name. I will use the same pattern but C as the collection instead of the previous G. To have access to areas from the grid, go to the Details tab, enable and then select the city grid. First of all, let's add the first and default option to the collection. I want this simple grass mesh as the default option, back to the collection. And while the mesh is selected, in the level click on the Generate Options button, and I will call it Ground. Click on the Auto Socket button, and it will assign sockets. I will call the new socket Ground 2. As all sockets are similar, I can disable the Rotate option because the Rotated Variations options have no difference from the original option. I will set its area to Residential. Maybe I will use this mesh as the backyard for homes later, and this option does not need road access. Now our default mesh is ready. Let's start with the easy parts by adding road meshes into the collection back to level and select the road meshes you want to use. These 4 are very important shapes, but the rest of them look similar to the previous meshes. Now back to the collection, and while meshes are selected in the level click on the Generate Options button, all the roads are in the collection. Let's rename them and assign sockets for them one by one. I will use auto socket detection, but for the first option, we need to train the socket detection system. Socket 1 and 3 look similar. I will merge them and change their names to curb. Let's update its preview color too. And I will use socket 2 as my road socket. It's important to update its area to the roads. We need to do the same process for all other road options. For this road, sockets are detected perfectly. For this mesh, sockets are not detected like previous options, and if we try to merge sockets, it won't work. You can find the reason in the output log. It says, "Can't merge because of size differences." If you open the mesh, you will see this mesh size is a little bit off on the x-axis. To fix this problem, we can delete these new sockets and assign sockets manually. I will hold the left shift to assign the road socket to all sides, and then I will add the curb socket. It seems I forgot to change the road preview color. This road has crosswalks, and I don't want this mesh to be next to other roads with crosswalks. So let's add a distance check to other roads so they will be always at a distance from this option. This mesh is a dead end. I don't want to see 2 of them next to each other and block the road, so it needs a distance check to itself. I think we can create a backup from this collection as the base. It has the default option and all of the road options for the next collections, so we don't have to make them again. Now it's time to add home options. Let's choose the default ground meshes. I think these green meshes would be good as home base mesh. Back to the collection and click on the Generate Options button. The reason I didn't select the building meshes is because each of them has a different size, and they can't fill the grid perfectly. So we chose the ground first, and then we will add the building mesh on top. We can filter home meshes to make our lives easier. This time, I will manually assign the sockets. This option can be connected to other homes, and just in the front, we can assign a connection to the curb socket, and its area must be residential. The same process for the next mesh. This number 8 is a good case to make two side connections to the curbs. In the grid, we need home meshes for these corner tiles, and number 8 is a good fit. For the next mesh, we need two curb sockets and two home sockets. If we look at the grid again, some home tiles need two connections to the curbs from the front and back sides. This number 9 is a good case to make three side connections to the curbs, which would be a great fit for these tiles. So we can update its sockets once more. Now we need to add buildings on top of these grounds. To do that, change additional modes to Add. If we use the default static mesh type, we have to make a ground for every single home mesh, and that is not optimized at all. Instead, we can change the type to Randomizer to select a random mesh from a list for each ground mesh. So we need to create an asset randomizer. Back to the content browser, right-click, and from the AZPLG menu, select the randomizer. I will call it R_homes as a randomizer for home buildings. Let's find some home buildings from the level. Select the meshes you want in the level, or the content browser, or both of them. Then, in the Asset Randomizer, click on the Add Meshes button to bring them into the randomizer. You can also increase the weight option to increase its chance of being selected. The randomizer asset is ready. Back to the collection and select the Home Buildings Randomizer for all home options. Change the additional mode to Add. Change the type to the randomizer, and select the randomizer we just made. Repeat the same process for all buildings, or create other randomizers for them too. Now, let's create options for economic tiles. The steps are similar to the home options. First, we need to select and add the ground meshes from the level. I will choose these gray tiles as ground for the shops. Back to the collection and click on the Generate Options button. Meshes are added. We need a new socket, and I will call it Shop. Let's fix shop option names and assign sockets to them. This option can be connected to other shops from the sides, and the curbs from the front and back, and don't forget to update its area. This option is good for centers as a spacer between shops, where there is no road access, and we can disable its road access option. This Shop 19 option is perfect for three-sided connections to the curbs. If we check our grids again, we can use this option for tiles like this. It seems we updated all of the shop options, but we don't have a shop option to cover these corner tiles, and this tile with connection to other shops on three sides. So let's add two more shop grounds. This mesh is for three-side connections, and this mesh is for corner tiles. Back to the collection again, and generate options. Again, the same process of renaming options, assigning sockets, and changing their area. Careful, if you don't make enough options to cover different variations of tiles in the grid, you can't generate a city, and you will get errors. Our base shop options are ready. Let's create a randomizer to add store buildings, and all steps are similar to the home buildings. Step 1. Create your randomizer asset. Step 2. Select building meshes from the level or content browser. Step 3. Click on the Add Meshes button. Once the randomizer is ready, we can add it to the options in the collection. Change the additional mode to Add, change the type to Randomizer, and select the randomizer asset. Our collection is completed, but there is room for errors always. So let's check all the options quickly and see if we can find any problems. All sockets on this option are the same, so we can disable rotation. For this option, we totally set the wrong sockets. This option has the wrong area. The area for this one is also wrong. We can disable rotate on this option, and also we don't need to use the randomizer on this option. I want to use it as a spacer between shops. I did another check off the camera, and I found one more error. I forgot to set the home 8, area to residential. I hope this was the last error, and we can generate our first city. Back to the level, add a generator to the level, select the collection, and set the seed to 0, and initialize the map. If you have a large map, you may see the engine freezes, but actually that's another Unreal Engine 5 bug. And it does not show the initializing progress bar similar to the Unreal Engine 4. So don't close your editor and wait until both spawning progress and adding actors to the level is done. Now we are ready for the big moment. Click on the Generate Map button and see the result. It took around 12 seconds to generate this map. This map has the exact same design as our grid, but I'm not happy with how the borders came out. They are messy, but that's an easy fix. Back to the collection. Open the Details tab, add a border socket, and write the curb socket tag, which is the letter D. Back to the level again, initialize and generate the map. This time it's much better. Let's see the names of these two road meshes, and add a distance check for them to prevent these dead ends. This time it's better. There are still dead ends, but I will leave them to you, whether you like to remove that option or maybe add more distance checks. If we change the generator seed, we should see different meshes on the same tiles. As you can see, the design of the map is the same, but different buildings are placed. I took a screenshot from the previous build, and you can clearly see that meshes are different. If you want to change the design of the neighborhood, go to the Grid asset in the Details tab and change the seed. Click on the Fill Grid and then the Make Grid. If you are happy with the result, save the grid and back to level, and initialize and generate again. As you can see this time, we have a totally different neighborhood design. Before this video gets too long as the final touch, I want to add more life to this neighborhood. I will create a new randomizer. Its name can be r_cars, as a randomizer for cars. I will keep the first option empty, and I will increase its weight to increase its chance. The reason for that is to keep traffic low by not selecting a car mesh. Now from the level, I will select some random car meshes. Back to the randomizer and add meshes to that. Our randomizer is ready. We can assign that to the road options in the collection. We probably need to update their offset, but we will do that after the first test. I think we can skip these crossroads and keep the traffic low. Now let's give it the first test. Initialize and generate the map again. As you can see, their rotation and location are not correct. Let's find the correct values. It seems for the rotation we can use -90 and 90. For the location in the y-axis, we can use -100 and 100. And the car is in the air, we have to bring it a little bit down. Now that we've found our offset value, we can apply it to the options. Let's disable cars on this road. Thanks to the standard design of this pack, we can apply the same offset to all car and road meshes. Let's generate the map for the last time in this video. I like how it came out. If you like to see another video of this pack and how to build a megacity with many more districts and areas, let me know in comment section. Thank you for watching this video and have a nice day.